Hello and welcome to Visions of Streator. I am Will York and I will be talking to Pastors Marjorie and Greg Haynes of Hope TV about drugs, violence, crime, personal responsibility, family responsibility, community responsibility, public leadership responsibility, economic opportunities, and spiritual development. Let us start with talking about drugs.
Don't do drugs. Don't buy drugs. If we don't buy drugs, there's no market and we won't have any drug dealers. So we'll have less crime, we'll have less violence. It's just better. So just don't buy drugs. And I don't want to hear how it's just a little weed. Oh yeah, it starts out being just a little weed, a little cocaine, a little heroin, a little meth. When is it going to stop? Stop. I mean, that leads into your community responsibility and your family and personal responsibilities. Just don't do it.
Also, if you ban drugs, you are the problem.
Yes.
Because it is encouraging like people who are on the margins already. And if they sell you, and this is a case that did happen, somebody bought some drugs and they were bad drugs, and then the person died, and then the person who died, a loved one retaliated and killed the drug dealer. So, and it was just over some bad product. Now the person who was selling the drug probably, maybe he knew or maybe he didn't know that he was selling bad drugs. You know, and it just brings a whole nother level of vice to the town. So you're not welcome here in this town to do drugs, to buy drugs. You know, if you're on drugs, you need to get off of them. If you can't, you need to get help. If you don't want to get the help, then you need to buy the drugs somewhere else, but not here in Streator. And that's what our officials got to say forcefully. You got to say that. You can't be saying, oh, I'm scared, or, you know, my life is in danger. If it is, then you need to get out of this line of work. We need real leaders. We need real shepherds, you know, to save this community. Yeah. Otherwise, you know, we're going to have shootings. People are shooting at each other in cars. And bullets are going everywhere.
Yeah.
So
endangering our young ones, killing our young ones. I mean, people are so quick to pick up a gun when you're in an argument, and that's crazy. Guns should never be unlocked. Should never be loaded inside a home. It's just there are just things that you're supposed to do, and those are part of the rules of having a handgun. You never have your guns unlocked. You never have them loaded. You have your ammo in a different place where you have your gun. So if you are in an argument and you are unhappy with someone, you're not going to go pick up the gun and shoot at them. Because by the time you unlock your gun safe, put your ammo in, hopefully you've calmed down a little bit and realized that this probably is not the best solution. People are so quick to react. Nobody in this town likes the violence that's going on. Nobody. You know, I don't know anybody that says, oh, I love the gunshots. No, I'm calling in every time they hear a gunshot. I would much rather not have to have anybody call in for gunshots. It's just no. Stop. It's ridiculous. What is it going to do you any good? You know, you have to, you know, I understand things are frustrating, but, you know, we have economic opportunities, and we all need some spiritual development, that is for sure. But there's all kinds of opportunities in this town.
This town does not have to be this way. This town is the way it is because people want to do what they want to do. They don't want to really help. People don't want to help themselves. They don't want to get off the drugs. We're not ready. It's a stronghold in this town. It's a spiritual stronghold in this town. And you young people, you need to remember the Lord in your youth. The Lord can use you right now. He don't want to wait till you get old then for you to come to Him. But you can come to Him at any time, but He can use you best right now. young people, stop playing games. Stop doing all of this crap you doing. Stop following old people who is trying to turn one American citizen against the other. Stop all of this politics in church. Get your life together spiritually. Help. We are supposed to be helping the sick, the poor, and the downtrodden and the less fortunate. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Everybody's supposed to be doing that. That's the work of, that is the work. That is why you here. That is the duty of everybody. And you supposed to do it not because you want to do it or because it's good. You supposed to do it because you supposed to do it. You know. And another thing, I just want everybody out there to know, subdue your passions and prove yourself. I'm sick of people saying, well, I got a right to do this, I got a right, I feel this way. No. Put that on the cross. Sacrifice it to make this town better. Sacrifice getting high. Sacrifice all of this crap. Sacrifice, I got a right to have a gun, I got a right to do this. No, sacrifice it and do the good. Do the work. Do the work. Do the work that Jesus Christ would have wanted you to do.
You all know what's right and what's wrong. Y'all know this.
Everybody know what's right and what's wrong.
The times are coming. Times are coming.
And there was some young people in here, a 12 and a 14-year-old brother and sister came up here to this shop. And I was so proud of them. It gave me hope for young people. But we need to have more young people like that. We need to have more young people who standing up for what's right at a young age. Standing up for principles, standing up for God Almighty. And it is opportunities here. It ain't no excuse for people to be selling, buying drugs, and pushing them. And you know what we just see here is just the tip of the iceberg. Because these drugs is coming in, people from the top. These people out here selling drugs is just a collateral damage. And I'm going to tell you, they supposed to be having a meeting at the high school next week. If they not talking about this, if they just grandstand it, this is, you know, if they not saying this, it's just a waste of your time. Y'all better get it together. Because this town can easily become a ghost town. It could easily become, you know, just another drug-ridden place. Get your life together.
And I don't understand, you know, how in the world are you people buying these? I mean, from what I know, drugs is not cheap. Well, we have how many bars we have in town? And I know
Quite a few.
drinks are not cheap anymore. I mean, just think of the things you could put that money towards the good. You know, I don't understand. I don't get it. I used to smoke, and whenever it got to be $2 a pack, I quit because that was too expensive. Now they're up to almost $10 a pack.
At least, I think.
I used to buy a carton for that. No, I can't afford that. How can you afford to go out and buy drugs?
So what they do is they give you a sample of the drug and get you hooked, and then you'll do whatever you can to get that drug, steal whatever. But you can't do whatever it takes to get a business going. You can't do whatever it takes to get to school, to learn something, to get your life together.
No, that's
you
what I'm
know.
saying.
See, if you can do that, you can do the other stuff, the hard stuff, the stuff that takes sacrifice to do. You can do it. You can do it. And stop letting Satan have a seat at the table here in this town. And also other people are coming to this town. Yeah, you can buy your drugs in Streator. No more. The police is doing a good job, but we need help. They need the FBI, they need the state police. We need, because it's not enough. We got to shut it down. You are not welcome here in Streator. You are not welcome here. And we need to, you know, your neighbors stop. You know what all the drug houses is. Tell the police. Tell them. You could tell them, the police anonymously. But we all got a responsibility. And the parents can't do it all. It takes a whole village to raise a child. You know, you just can't say the parents this, the parents that, but the parents do got responsibilities too. But it's only so much they can do because they got to work. You know,
they're on drugs.
Yeah, some of them on drugs too. But they can't be with the kids 24/7.
You know, there's generations and generations and generations of drug abuse, and it's a mental health crisis here. You know, why do you need these drugs?
We have a mental health crisis in this town, like Marjorie said. It's a mental health crisis, and it leads over into drug abuse. People selling drugs because, you know, some of the people sell drugs because it's a job. They can't get a job nowhere else. Nobody's gonna hire them. They've been in jail or whatever. You know, it's a messed up system. It's a messed up situation. But we can overcome it. We can do it. This town, we can do it. We can overcome it. You know, like she said, it's a severe mental health crisis in this town. And people don't really want to talk about it because the leadership in this town don't want to feel upset because the hospital closed and some of them was complicit in it closing. And now we don't really have the mental health services. People got to travel all over to get the help. And everything, it does break down the money, but we have to find the money. And that's what, for the mental health and for the drug crisis. It's a crisis. And we can't sweep it under the rug, say, oh, it's already this, it's this and that, the other. It is a crisis.
Yep.
And it's full-blown crisis. And young people, you all better get to the church. You better start reading the Bible and stop listening to all of this crap, negativity about everything that's going on, and get your life together and be a force for Christ. Do this work, uplift this town.
Yep.
And we can't sweep this under the rug. It ain't no getting around it. And the leadership, they got to do better.
Yep. And you know what? If you have your own business, you set your hours. You decide what goal you want to, what you need. We have every Saturday in June through October, we have a little farmers market out here. All you do is bring your tables and your chairs. We don't charge. You can showcase what you do. Now,
you can come and go as you want. And there's no, you know.
That's the way we got started in the farmers markets. And then we went online, and now we have a physical place, and I'm in a couple of other places. Yeah, I mean, you can grow your own job, and once you have your own job, you know, your own place, you know, you're calling the shots there, you know. So if you ever, and this is for young people too, you know, because you're not going to be in high school or junior high all your life. It's about time you start planning what you want to do, you know, and figure out how you're going to get to that goal. But anybody is welcome here at Political Coffee and Tea. If you have a question, if you just like to talk, you know, we're very non-judgmental. We are pastors, but I don't preach at you. Gregory doesn't preach at you. You know, we will show you things in the Bible that pertains to what you are going through, but we have no problem whatsoever in trying to help you and guide you through your journey. We will help you and guide you, trying to get you to set up a business if you want. You know, we do not have a problem with sharing information. So, you know, we often have church here when we don't really mean to have church here. It just happens. But we have everybody of all different kinds of different religions, walks of life. We all have a point of view, and we have no problem with you coming and asking for help or clarifying something, or, you know, it could be something, hey, I want to go to, you know, I want to start looking at writing essays for scholarships. We can do that because we've been through that. We've done that. We have no problems with helping you do that.
And we can also help you with your journey and your walk, your spiritual journey with Christ. You know, because all this stuff is worldliness. This is not what we're supposed to be about. We're supposed to be helping the sick, the poor, the downtrodden, the less fortunate, you know, the sick, we supposed to be doing that. We supposed to be visiting, the elderly, the people who are infirm. That's what we supposed to be doing. That's what we supposed to be doing as individuals, as a community, as leaders. This is what we supposed to be doing. We supposed to be supporting each other. And this town does do a lot of good things. Mm-hmm. But we got to do more. We got to do it in the Bible, the seven churches of Laodicea. It says, it talk about all of the good things that they doing, but God wants you to do more.
Yep. You can always do a little more. You can always do, just a little more. I mean, there are so many things that you could do, in your daily life. I mean, even something as simple like we had here on Sunday, because we had a couple come in and they had their breakfast, and a young man came in, and they said, put his tab on ours.
Because he didn't have a very good job, but he has a job and he's trying. Right. But he was just saying he had to watch his money, and I said, our prices are really not that high. And he saw it, but they just,
They said, put his tab on ours.
And he was a young man, but he was in his 20s, but they paid his tab for it. He was very grateful.
Very grateful. I mean, that's something beautiful that happens. I had an incident at the bank. I had some change, put it through the machine, went to see if anything's rejected, found a whole handful of 50-cent pieces and dollar coins. Well, these aren't mine. Some people would just put it in their pocket, but no, I went up and I told them this ain't mine. Found this. It's just small things. Holding the door for somebody. Smiling at somebody, say, hey, how you doing? A lot of our older people don't get much contact, so, if they're in Walmart, it don't cost you nothing to smile at them and say, how you doing today? And and even, I do it a lot, the workers there. I mean, I've worked retail, and it can be pretty down, get you kind of downtrodden. And so, if you see somebody and you just say, hey, you doing okay today? They appreciate that. I know I appreciate that. Someone asks, am I okay today?
We supposed to be uplifting and encouraging people. But on the same token, we cannot turn a blind eye to problems either. No. We can't. We have to address it, man. We have to do better. Yeah. We should be seeking perfection. We supposed to be doing better. And for the young people out here, remember the Lord in your youth. Turn your life over to Christ now. Do right. Do what you can to help somebody. Be that person. Don't be that bully in school. Don't be the condescending little, runt that you can be. Be genuine, be true. And have a relationship with the Lord. Because that's the most important thing. All of this stuff, it's not that important. The most important thing is God. And if you want to come to God, if you want to know God, you can come here. You can come here and talk to us. We here Wednesday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can also call us, text us. We on Facebook. You can go to Hope TV. You can message us there. We have phone numbers and everything listed. But get your spiritual life together.
Well said, Greg. Marjorie.
Okay.
That's all that we have for Visions of Streator.
Bye.
Bye.